Rasty McGibbon with men's Division II coach of Army West Point, Erik Batewell. Erik, thanks for coming on 5 Minute Major.
Thanks for having me.
First of all, congratulations on getting here. Getting here is an accomplishment in itself. How special, for you, and we can get into the dynamic of being a civilian coach for the Army, but how special is it, first of all, that you're here?
It's an unbelievable feeling. It's the first time in program history. We never won a game in regionals before, so to win a game of regionals and then to get to nationals and get the school to back us, it's a huge step for the program.
In speaking with your officer in charge, Lieutenant Colonel Greenberg, he told me that initially there were some concerns that the school might not approve them missing class this long. Do you think it in any way speaks to the magnitude of this tournament that ultimately they let them come?
Yes, absolutely. We got some hired sergeant major who went to bat for us a little bit and explained to them that this was a big deal. This was something that should be shouted from the rooftops at West Point, that this team made it to nationals, and the dean and everybody got behind us. So it was a big step for sure.
What does it mean for you personally as a coach that that this group of cadets was able to do what's necessary? And I think you guys came in vans, is that right?
We did. The kids actually drove, because we're civilians, we're not allowed to drive the military vehicles. So
right.
I had a college kid drive me 16 hours across country.
Wow.
It's an interesting dynamic, to say the least.
Yeah.
But I'll be honest with you, this is the most fun I've ever had. I've been coaching for 20 years, and this is the best group I've ever been around.
Tell me a little bit about your journey as a civilian, and again, this is all new for me too, right? As a civilian, being involved with the military hockey team.
Oh, it's awesome. So I actually grew up playing at West Point as a youth hockey player. So I have a relationship with all the people in the building, and it, to me, was coming home. I am excited for where this country is headed with these young men that are going to serve for our country. I think it's phenomenal.
It's an awesome perspective. Pool play, as a coach, I'm sure I would anticipate that you would say it's not gone the way you wanted. You ran into a couple tough teams, Lindenwood and Liberty. But what do you feel the experience, or how has the experience benefited you in terms of downstream effects? So and I don't, you can tell me about recruiting in a military hockey team, but exposure, ease of scheduling.
So ease of scheduling for sure is going to be the biggest one, right? So I've made contacts, we've made people, we've been invited to several showcases already for next year. As far as recruiting goes, I want to say it's going to help, but we don't get to recruit. They have to be appointed into West Point before they can even entertain the idea of playing club hockey for us.
Right.
So it's a totally different dynamic. When we played those other two teams in Liberty and Lindenwood, they're completely recruit teams, loaded, and we hung with the best in the country for as long as we could. We just had a couple hiccups.
So when I spoke to one of your players, Mark, interestingly, he was actually recruited to West Point for baseball.
Yep.
But somehow through the magic, he's now a hockey player.
Yeah.
He finally saw the light and decided to play hockey. So do you find that you have some occurrences like that?
Other than
is that
him,
kind of rare?
He's kind of the rare one. He came here as a to play Division I baseball and be a pitcher, and being a Pittsburgh native, hockey players, you're either a hockey player or you're not, right? And he just had that fire and found out there was a competitive team, and this team wins a lot of games, so they've had a lot of fun over the last 3 or 4 years.
How do you find, being at a school that has an NCAA, how do you find that non-varsity hockey integrates into that environment?
We've got our challenges for sure, to say the least, but I have a great relationship with Coach Riley at West Point. I actually coached his son when he played youth hockey. So I've been able to mend those fences a little bit, and we've broken down some of the barriers, but we are still a club team with no real facility and no locker room, and we're a club team and they're not, and that's the way it's going to be.
I just had a conversation with Lieutenant Colonel Greenberg, and interesting, we learned that he is an economics professor, but he wanted to get involved with hockey 8 years ago. Tell me about his role and how you feel supported as a coach with him.
So Colonel Greenberg's awesome. Colonel Greenberg does all the administrative work. He goes to bat and fights all the battles we need with the school itself, and allows me to just focus on the things I need to, which are building the relationship with the guys and coaching hockey. Other than that, he's been phenomenal. Without him, I don't know where this program would be.
Well, hey, I think you've had a successful year. I'm sorry that pool play has not gone the way you wanted, but you know what? You're here. We're glad you're here. And I guess as a citizen, thank you for investing in our military, even though you may not really feel like you do. Because I think it's an awesome opportunity that you got there, and I would love nothing more than to see you guys here next year.
That's the plan. This was a big year. We, highest ranking ever, first time at nationals. We had our player actually been named Northeast Player of the Year, Caleb Kaiser. He's actually one of the 4 finalists for the National Player of the Year. So these are big things for the program. I'm excited.
Well, fantastic.
Thank
Erik,
you guys for having me.
Oh man, thanks so much for being on, and want to wish you the best and finish pool play on a high note.
Thank you very much.
This is Erik Batewell, head coach, Army West Point, Men's Division II.